Hey there again, Michael Sipe, COO of Strategic Advisor Board and owner of Sipe Coaching and Consulting as a leadership coach, helping executives find that work-life balance. On today's episode of Empowered Leadership, we're going to be talking about the 5 reasons people resist change. Now, as we all know, business has change often, but people react to it differently. And sometimes change is good. Maybe we haven't had a lot of sales this quarter and suddenly things change and we get more sales. Well, that sounds pretty good. So we're happy about that kind of change. But what happens when change is downward within the organization and it's a change that's significant enough? Well, how does that show up for people? There's 5 ways that typically shows up and they become resistant about that change. And it's important as a CEO to know these 5 because you can help mitigate them. All right, number 1 that I see fairly often is competency concerns, meaning the company typically makes widget A, and widget A is what they've been making for the past 5 years, and they've done fairly well at it. Well, now it's time to innovate, and they got to make widget B now to be competitive in the marketplace. Well, widget B, maybe they don't feel like they can actually make it. Maybe they don't have the skills to do so. So they're concerned about competency and being able to execute that change. Okay, second area that I see that shows up is one of loss of control, meaning typically employees have their day-to-day things that they do, and they're used to doing it and they have control over that. Well, suddenly if a segment of that execution that they do on a day-to-day basis isn't there anymore and they're told that they have to change, well, now they can't control that anymore because maybe they don't know much about it. And so loss of control ends up being one of the traits of resistance to change. Okay, another one that shows up, and this one's fairly common, is, hey, you've been doing great work. We're going to reward you with more work. Yeah, more work means change. And sometimes more work when it's already a 10-hour workday, well, people aren't going to like having more work. So that one's kind of obvious, but that's a good resistance to change. All right, next one that shows up is being wrong. So maybe an organization, division's been doing a process and that process suddenly fails. Well, now change has to come in, but they are concerned that, hey, in their image is one of failure because they had to change. And so maybe they don't want to lose or have the appearance of failure. So being wrong is pretty important to them. And so that's another reason why people might resist change. Next one, and this is the biggest one. When there are big policy changes and they say things like, hey, our company really has to slash costs. It's a recession right now and we have to buckle down. Well, typically that means the possibility of letting people go. Well, the threat of job loss can be pretty significant and a big fear on employees. So there's another area where resistance to change is fairly common. Okay, well, those are 5 areas of resistance to change for organization: competency concerns, loss of control, more work, being wrong, and threat of job loss. So if you can work to help mitigate the change impact in those areas, you're going to be much more successful in implementing that new change. All right, if you liked this episode of 5 Reasons People Resist Change, hit the like button below. And if you have a challenge in your own organization, feel free to put a comment in the comment section below asking that question. We'll be sure to help answer it. And then lastly, if you continue to want to watch these videos, please subscribe and hit the subscribe button below so you can get updates when new videos come out. All right, I hope you found this episode of Empowered Leadership helpful, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.